Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing a book review and I actually took notes on this and I had to stop because this is already too much and this is just on like characters and stuff. I actually got this book, The Testing, for free on my Kindle, which is now charging. I guess I could show you my Kindle. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Kindle Fire. And I have just got a free month trial of Kindle Unlimited. And on Kindle Unlimited, The Testing by, I don't even know the author's name. I was so into the book that I didn't even look it up. Usually I do. But The Testing and the second book, The Independent Study, were free. So, of course, I'm in a reading slump. A dystopian series I have read for years and years and years before they're popular. So I thought, why not just get into it? And it's free. So I read it, and I cannot stop reading it. It was such a good book. I was almost angry with myself for not being able to read it because I was on vacation some. And I wish I could get a waterproof case for my Kindle because we were on the lake and I couldn't read it on the lake. And I was like, even if I get in the water with it, I want to know what happens. And I enjoyed it very much. I actually ended up giving it an 88% because, okay, people need to start rating things in percentages because 4 stars means something completely different to me depending on the book. 4 stars can mean, it was okay, to it was the best ever. And 88%, it had its issues. It wasn't the most well-written book, but it was a great story to read, and it was a wild ride, and I would greatly recommend it for other people. Here's a non-spoiler review. I tried to put the littlest amount of information possible in here because that's what I went with, and it just made it so much more fun. And some of these things I feel like other people would give in their reviews, but I don't want to spoil you, so here we go. Malsina Vale. Okay, I may be saying that wrong, but I said it so many different ways in my head that it was almost ridiculous. So if you say it a different way, tell me. That's how I'm going to say it in my head. Malsina Vale has spent her entire childhood wishing that she would be a part of the testing, which is the mysterious system in which the leaders of the United Commonwealth are chosen. Malsina, or Sia as she's called frequently in the book, father went through his own testing to join the university, where he becomes a leader in engineering plants. Once the testing is finished, passing candidates are removed of their memories, but there hasn't been a candidate from Five Lakes Colony, which is her colony, in 10 years. Very mysterious and very big on purpose. Like I said, I give it an 88%. You can read it if you want to. If you get Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. I'm pretty sure it's not that much money on Kindle. You can get the first 2 books. The third one, you have to pay $8 for, but if you're just wanting to read the first one, then go ahead. It's got a cliffhanger, but I guess that's it for the non-spoilery section. I'm going to talk about characters, and I'm going to kind of go free range into my plot because I wrote so much for the characters that this could take all day. So I will see you once you've read the book. Goodbye! Unless you want to be spoiled. Okay. Characters. Okay, I say Tomas in my head like that freaky prince from Rain who is horrible. But I kind of weirdly pictured, I can't even remember how it was described, but the prince from Rain was who was my Tomas in my head. But I've watched a whole bunch of reviews and pretty much everyone else says Thomas, but I feel like Thomas should have an H in it. But when I wrote for Tomas, I said I could tell from the beginning that Tomas would be the love interest, which was obvious. The way she wrote him and the way they interacted, it was like, okay, Tomas, you're going to be the love interest. And I was nervous about trusting him in the beginning because, okay, this is one of the parts of the book that I was literally screaming at Sia. Because her father tells her about the testing, about these horrible nightmares that he has. His friend is dead and he finds the foot of one of his other friends all bloody. And he's like, oh, Sia, I never wanted you to go through with this. I never wanted you to be picked from the testing. That's why I made sure all the other kids didn't get picked. But you can't trust anyone. And don't talk about my nightmares with anyone because it could have repercussions. And what does she do? She trusts stupid Tomas. And I think part of the reason why I don't trust him is because there's a history that is very large and extensive that we don't hear about, but Malsina knows in the book. Okay, sorry I'm reading this, but I want to make sure I have. And before they gave the big reveal, I thought he was really petty because of the whole Will situation. That's the big reveal, how horrible and evil Will is. But he just seemed like he was arguing with him almost because he thought that Selena, I just called her Selena, Malsina was scared. I'm looking at my bookshelf and I can see Throne of Glass. That Malsina cared about Will. And okay, he's rational. I never quite trusted him, but I was thankful that Sia had someone to care about and keep her from crossing the line that other leaders and candidates did. I feel like a lot of this testing, humans lost their humanity. Look at Malachi, who I'm probably saying that wrong too because so many other people pronounce it the way, with the nail in his eye, Rhyme hanging from the ceiling, Annalise, I think that was her name, dead, so many, and then in the second book even so many more deaths that there was really no reason to. And Will, how he kept talking about killing all those people was like animals. And Dr. Barnes, the part that almost gave me shivers and creeped out when he was like, well, I'm glad that Ryan killed herself because that means that we won't have to worry about her and that we know that she couldn't make it in the testing. And how human life and values that are right and good were just cast aside. Something is fishy about the whole Xander situation, and I wouldn't put killing her past him. A lot of people, I think, agree with me, but Tomas, there's something up with him. And I know she loses her memory in the last part of the book, which is actually the part that makes me angry, but Malsina needs to realize that there's more to him that meets the eye. And there's, even Will said, as much as I don't want to agree with him, but he's not the pretty good boy that you think he is. There's more to him than that. And I'm really curious to see what we learn about him more in the book. I said Xandri is my next one because I just talked about her death. And I said, in the beginning I found her very annoying. For example, when she gets chosen for the testing and acts like she doesn't want to go, even though it is a huge honor in their society, and most of the kids who were there would have given their right arm to be in her shoes. Xandri just caught me as someone who was very cocky, she was very stubborn, and not in the good, funny way, but I get to do whatever I want and I don't care what the situations are, and just kind of the comments that she made. I understand that who she is a real person, there's a lot of people who are like that, but it was almost in the situation that they were in, it caused unneeded drama and things. I said, though, as time grew on, I realized that I actually did care about Xandri, that she had somehow gotten me to like her character, that I was convinced in the beginning, I was like, if she dies, I'm not going to care. But as each test we started passing, I don't know if it was because she was from Five Lakes or anything, I wanted to make sure that she came out. I found myself, oh my god, did Xandri make it? And let me see. And I think Sia misjudged how strong and intelligent of an opponent she was. When Xandri doesn't return and is presumably dead, I wasn't sad, I was more angry. I think I was angry at the situation that they were put in, at the lives lost, like I was talking about earlier, just the value of life itself meaning nothing to people. Even Tomas, who seems like such a good person, that your friend, someone you care about, you're willing to, even if you did kill her, at least tell the truth about it. I feel like Xandri deserves some sort of proper death. If you're gonna kill her off, at least tell us how she died, which I am halfway through the second book, which I actually was going to talk about how I am going to continue on with the series, and I've yet to find that out yet, and I really want to know. Will. I can barely even talk about this character because I literally am so mad at myself for not seeing how evil he really is. There were so many clues that after I found out were dropped in the story, and so many times that I just didn't feel right about his character reading, But from the beginning scene with Will and Gale, I immediately just wrote them off as kind of funny / adorable characters who were kind of there and we could trust, like almost not really comic relief, but there to stop how intense and sad the whole situation was. But man, was I wrong. And I even wrote, I have to stop talking about him because I'm so disgusted and angry. I finished this book a couple days ago, maybe 1 or 2. And then I have Rhyme. From the moment we met Rhyme, I had a bad feeling about her. I didn't expect her death at all. She was very rude, narcissistic, and mischievous and nervous. The corn cakes and the things that she did, none of her, I guess, choices or actions really added up to one personality. It was almost like so many things were warring inside of her and she didn't really know what to do. I feel like, okay, if a person was going to be Slytherin, then Rhyme would be Slytherin. And I wish we could learn more about her death and her colony, because her death just does seem a little fishy for me. And it was so sick how they were talking about how there were video cameras and sound in there, and she was just imagining like someone watching her kill herself, and they're watching her tie a sheet around her and doing nothing and feeling nothing about it because, oh, at least she didn't become a leader. And I knew that would get to people, but still, I actually wrote that about Dr. Barnes. At first, I liked him. I thought he was going to be a kind character, but then I literally wrote, freaks me out, end of story. Though a lot of the problem was that he thinks what he was doing was right, that the ends justified the means. Something in Dr. Barnes makes him think that life isn't worth what it is, that a human is the same thing as an animal, that to get a leader, to get a stable government that listens to the orders that they already have, he's willing to lose children who just want to help their city and they just want to help their colony. Some of those kids, like Will, were just there to get money for their families, to, like Malsina's father. And if they don't pass the test, they're never seen from again, or like Malachi when the nail hits him in the eye. I loved the plot of this book. I loved how it kept me guessing. It was kind of weird. A lot of people relate this. Emma Books had the exact same, oh my god, I don't even know what this is called right now. The exact same way I explained it. Like I said, it's kind of like the Hunger Games, Maze Runner, and I don't think it was she said Divergent, but I think I had a different dystopian mixed together. My favorite test would have to probably be the second one because of just how, it's either the second or third. I think it's the second one because the one where they had all those boxes and they had to slide it or like turn it some way, and the one where Malachi dies and they had to, like, the wrong answer, they kept stressing that. Like, I knew something was going to be bad and they kept stressing that only do answers you're confident with, and like separating the plants. And I think my least favorite test, which is a tie between the third and the fourth. I enjoyed the fourth, but I found myself almost like flying through it because I was getting, until it got near the end. Like the first couple parts I was like, I just want to know if we pass it, I want to know if everybody's okay and everybody lives. But it was actually very interesting between the wolf-like people, Tomas maybe being evil because of Xandri, Will's betrayal, so many deaths. I really just love Malsina as a character. I think she's not really had much character development aside from seeing new sides of her personality and really just seeing what the world is really like. I actually made a tweet about this. I said there's something about a dystopian world where they are, I think it was surrounded by sickness, but they believe that they are well. And that's what kind of made me feel sick about Dr. Barnes, that he thinks he's the good guy. He thinks he's doing something right. And he doesn't see this corruption and this evil that it's causing. And a lot of other things in the books that, like, ask real questions. Like, is a human life different than an animal? Is it more important? Does the end justify the means if it means death? A lot of more thought-provoking questions, and I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the characters, Malsina. I enjoyed the way she thought through things. I haven't read a character in a long time, or the one that I remember, that was able to just process and calm herself as much as Melusina was, because I mean, she had to deal with so much stuff in this book, and now the book that I'm reading right now, The Independent Study, but she continued to realize that there was more to work with, there was more to fight, and I love how she wasn't like a loudmouth and didn't give everything away, because like if I was her, I would have told, like, there's a camera there, I would have given everything away. And even, it really touched me how she buried, I think her name ended up being like Amanda, the girl from her, not from her colony, who was killed, and the birds were pecking at her eyes, that she just felt such honor and such love for a person that she was willing to give her a proper burial and let her be honored the way she should be. I enjoyed a lot of her ideas and who she trusts and her choices. I think that's one of her flaws, that she's easily trusting. I cannot wait to see how Melusina's life goes on, how her time goes on. I cannot wait to find out what happened with the hobo man who like ran into the testing area and gave her like the food and things. I want to know if she remembers anything. She's starting to in the book that I'm reading. Oh, that's a spoiler, but it almost pains me that she doesn't know, because it's like, you're around such corruption, the people around you have done just these unspeakable things, and yet you have no idea. And it's like, I went through this whole journey with her, and I wish she would remember it, because like the journey was almost worthless if she doesn't remember. I'm having trouble not wanting to talk about what happens later. I hope you guys enjoyed this book. There's so much more I could talk about. I could go on and on and on. But this book really moved me. It was a great story, and it was really fun. And I will see you later. Goodbye. That was actually pretty fast for all of these notes.